In 1998, Philip H. Knight, Nike's chairman and CEO, was facing one of the most challenging decisions of his career. Over the past decade, Nike had become a lightning rod for criticism about child labor practices and the financial exploitation of developing countries. Although many other clothing and shoe companies use the same factories and similar oversight policies, Nike's high-profile brand had made it a popular target for activists.
However, by 2014, these promises were under serious scrutiny by the media, environmental groups, and BP itself. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill in 2010 had dumped more than 200 million gallons of oil into the Gulf Coast. BP had been charged with gross negligence and faced liabilities of more than $42 billion.
Hello, as you know, this is a Writing Within the Discipline course. We have several papers in this class. Over the years, I've noticed reoccurring issues in students' papers, so I'd like to give you some writing tips to help strengthen your work. In the passive voice, the subject of a sentence is neither doing nor being something. It is acted upon by some other person or entity, or by something unnamed. Crutch words are words that you fall back on when you can't find a better one, or when you're hoping to dilute the force of what you are saying.
I took 100 people, randomly assigned 50 of them to eat an ice cream sandwich every day for a week, and 50 of them to not eat an ice cream sandwich every day for a week. And then at the end of the week, I weigh them to see if ice cream sandwiches actually cause people to increase their weight.
But later on in the 18th and 19th centuries, philosophy and science came to be, in many cases, synonyms, referring to experiential, experimental knowledge of nature. This culminated with the creation in 1831 of the British Association for the Advancement of Science. This reflected the increasing use of science to mean mechanical, utilitarian knowledge of a kind suited to industrial society. Or in the 19th century, rail companies found that every station on a west-east line would be running on its own local time. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Wilmington, Philadelphia, and New York are not at the same longitude. New York is east of Washington, D.C. In fact, midday happens 12 minutes earlier in New York than it does in D.C. To see how difficult this was for 19th century trains, let's say you took a very fast train from D.C. to New York City. If you left at noon D.C. time, and it took you only 10 minutes to get to New York, you would arrive by local time at 11:58 a.m. in New York City. So in consequence, railroads developed the first standardization of time by sending a man down on the first train of the day to synchronize clocks at every stopping point along the way.
Chaotic. In Greek, chaos means the abyss, the gap in between two other things. We might say that it means nothingness. So in the beginning, there was chaos means in the beginning, there was nothing.
Simply put, as the number of prisoners we have has increased, the spending we have on rehabilitation is decreased. Imagine those as two lines in a graph. People are up, spending is down. If I was a young, tough dude, male dude, that's an important part of it, I'd probably think, I'm not going to become a victim of crime. But actually, young men, particularly young black men, are much more likely to become victims of crime than little old ladies sweetly walking to the supermarket.